My name is David Hertz, and I'm the architect at the Hollywood Bowl House, and it's currently on the market for $11 million. So this house is on 2 lots, multiple buildings, over 7,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, and up to 9 baths. This is the most expensive house on the market in Venice right now. I have a record of the most expensive houses ever being sold in Venice historically, and they hold their value. What makes the Hollywood Bowl House unique and its namesake is that it's made from the benches of the Hollywood Bowl, complete with the provenance that has. You can imagine the sound that's imbued in every piece of wood in the house. And we like to think that the spirit of the Hollywood Bowl, the happiness and the music that's there is embodied in the house. The Hollywood Bowl House actually is now one unified house, but it didn't start that way. My client had owned 1 lot that had multiple units on it and a little craftsman bungalow, and then bought the adjacent lot, which was vacant. And so the idea was to try to weave these multi-units together into one cohesive whole. And so we actually lifted up the bungalow and to put a garage underneath, and then took out all the walls, the separate stairs and separate entrances to the multi-units, and then built a new building on the vacant lot, and then weaved them all together into one seamless house. So part of the idea of the craftsman is to preserve this cute little 1940s bungalow with the siding and everything on the site, and actually connect it to the other buildings. But to satisfy the code requirement, we had to provide parking underneath it. And so literally one just jacks the house up and just raises the house and then builds a building underneath it. It was a tiny little house, about 500 square feet, that had blue clapboard siding, and that is all still intact. It's just that instead of being on the ground floor, it's now up on the 2nd floor, and it's integrated around an outdoor deck, so that you literally leave the house, you go outside, and then you go into the craftsman house that's on the 2nd story. And so it feels like you would have a little house next door, but it's all on the 2nd floor. I was very interested in a dramatic entrance, and having a giant wall that's 2 stories high, that's clad in teak, that pivots so that you open up, almost makes it feel like you're walking underneath a house that's outside rather than into a house. You see the stairwell, the mezzanine, that there's courtyards inside of the house, so there's natural light everywhere and you're flowing right inside. So, you know, there's some really interesting dynamic pieces with that we've got all these functions into this small series of lots. I've been practicing architecture almost 40 years, and when I started, I really started as an environmentalist. So I tried to, my whole career, work to lessen the impacts of the built environment on the natural, but to use it as a progenitor for design, not an afterthought. But you know, if I'm going to incorporate some recycled material, that's a wonderful thing. During the process, we found out that the Hollywood Bowl seating, which was all made out of cedar that was quite old, with planks with numbers that were debossed into it, was going to be replaced. And so we ended up being able to buy a large percentage of the seating itself and then use it as the siding with the numbers and everything in there, so that there's really a provenance, a story behind this texture to the walls, and why are there numbers, and why is there a weathered, aged surface. That's all part of the character of the house. The house is an integrated whole that is designed to generate 100% of its own electricity, to capture stormwater, to use daylight, to use natural ventilation, to use not only reclaimed materials, but also natural non-toxic materials. So there's a real emphasis on exposed finishes, exposed concrete that's unsealed, that's natural reclaimed teak flooring throughout the house. And there's a certain earthiness and warmth to the house because of the honest expression of these natural materials.